Set your coffee cup down. Feel the warmth in your hands. Listen to the quiet around you for a second. You've worked over 40 years for this moment. Waking up before sunrise, every single day. Feeling that cold morning air on your face. Paying bills without ever really stopping. Taking care of your family without complaint, year after year. It adds up to something, even when it doesn't feel like it. But tonight, when the house goes quiet, one question echoes in the dark. Have I actually saved enough? Or am I falling behind everyone else? Today we're opening the brand new 2026 net worth numbers. Not a boring spreadsheet, not confusing financial jargon. In the next few minutes, you'll see exactly where you rank among American retirees, using real current data instead of guesswork. And there's a hidden tax trap waiting near the end. It's quietly draining accounts worth over $1 million. The kind of balance most people assume makes them safe. Stay with me until the end. Why does 2026 matter more than previous years? Inflation has quietly reshaped what these numbers mean. A dollar saved 5 years ago buys less today. Rules around Medicare and taxes shift constantly too. The plan that worked in 2020 may already be outdated. That's exactly why these fresh benchmarks matter right now. First, let's clear up a lie the headlines love repeating. You've seen the number floating around online. Average net worth $1.8 million. Take a breath before that number scares you. That number is an illusion, and here's why. Picture 9 retirees sitting in a diner booth. Coffee cups, quiet conversation, the usual morning routine. Then a billionaire walks in and sits down, orders a coffee, just like everyone else. Suddenly the average jumps into the billions. But nobody at that original table got richer. Not one of them gained a single dollar. That's exactly what's happening with these headlines every single time they get reported. The real number that actually matters is the median. That's the person standing dead in the middle. Half of America sits above that person. Half sits below them, evenly split. According to the Federal Reserve, the median sits near $409,000. Now picture your own house right now, clearly. The driveway, the front door, the mailbox at the end of the walk, the yard you've mowed 1,000 times. That number includes your home equity too. But you can't eat bricks and shingles. You can't hand a doctor your roof shingles. What actually matters most is your liquid cash. That's the part almost nobody ever discusses, even though it's the part that matters most in an actual emergency. So let's break this down into 3 simple tiers. Tier 1 is what I call the survival zone. Your spendable savings sit under $100,000. You rely almost completely on Social Security checks. Millions of Americans live exactly in this tier. If that's you, comment Tier 1 right now. Later in this video, I'll give you a real plan. If this is you, don't panic reading this. Small, consistent steps matter more here than anywhere else. Even $50 moved into savings monthly adds up. A liquid cushion, however small, changes everything during an emergency. It's the difference between a bad week and a crisis. And it's a habit anyone can start today, regardless of income. Tier 2 feels comfortable, at least on the surface. Your net worth sits between $350,000 and $500,000. Your house is paid off finally, after decades. You don't panic anymore at the grocery store, but there's usually a cold knot in the stomach. What happens if a medical emergency hits us? That fear doesn't disappear just because the mortgage did. It just gets quieter and harder to name out loud. Here's why that fear makes sense. 2 people can share the exact same net worth, but one keeps cash sitting ready and one doesn't. Imagine a water heater breaking on the same week for both. One person transfers money and it's handled by lunch. The other person starts making phone calls, worried. Same net worth, same age, completely different Tuesday. That's the part a single number never shows you. If you're in this tier, ask yourself honestly tonight, how much of your net worth could you actually reach by tomorrow morning? Tier 3 is the top 10% of retirees. Your net worth sits above 1.2 million. Congratulations, you've outpaced most Americans your age. But don't relax just yet because there's a catch. A silent trap is waiting inside this tier. It can quietly erase 30% of your wealth. And it happens within the first 5 years. Nothing crashes. No market correction causes it. Let me show you exactly how it happens. People in this tier often hold more than 401k. They spread money across dividend stocks and real estate too. Sometimes inflation-protected cash sits in the mix as well. That spread matters, because no single shock touches everything. When markets drop, they don't have to sell immediately. When taxes shift, they have other places to draw from. When a grandchild needs help, they simply have choices. That flexibility itself is a form of wealth, quietly protecting them every single day, whether they notice it or not. Inflation touches every single tier the same way. A grocery bill that cost $60 now costs closer to $80. That gap quietly widens every single year, without pause. It's part of why these 2026 numbers matter more than older ones. An outdated benchmark can quietly mislead your entire plan. Before that story, let's talk about healthcare. It touches every single tier equally, without exception. Medicare premiums start taking bites immediately at 65. That's before a single out-of-pocket bill even arrives. By 2026, these costs keep climbing higher every year. The average retired couple needs $300,000. That number isn't meant to scare you today. It's meant to earn a real seat at your planning table, right alongside everything else. Picture that number as a slow, quiet counter, ticking upward in the background of every retirement. Most people never see it until a bill arrives. Then it's stamped unpaid out of pocket right there in red. Planning for it early changes the entire equation completely. Now here's the story of Tom and Sarah. Tom retired at 65 with $400,000 saved. He felt completely invincible walking out that door. He'd done everything the textbooks told him to do. Contribute steadily, never touch it early, trust the system completely, without question. He kept every single dollar in traditional accounts. It felt simple to him. It felt safe. Picture him years later, sitting at his kitchen table. Harsh fluorescent light overhead, tax forms spread everywhere. His jaw tightens as he runs the numbers again. Required distributions hit him first. Medicare surcharges hit right alongside them, without warning. In under 48 months, taxes ate 30% of everything he'd built over decades. Nobody stole from Tom. Nothing crashed in the market that year. His investments actually performed reasonably well on paper. He simply never sat down and planned the withdrawal. Sarah had that exact same $400,000. Same age, same retirement date, almost to the month. Picture her instead on a sunlit porch somewhere quiet. Iced tea sweating gently in her hand. She's completely unbothered by tax season approaching. A few years before retiring, she made one deliberate move. She began converting some funds into a Roth account. She did it slowly, a little each year, on purpose. Only during years when her income dipped lower. It wasn't free, she paid some tax up front. But her future withdrawals came out completely tax-free. Her required distributions stayed dramatically smaller than Tom's ever were. Same starting number. Completely different ending 20 years later. One decision, made early, changed everything that followed. Stay with me for the exact checklist. There's one more factor almost nobody mentions in these videos. It has nothing to do with accounts or taxes at all. A widow named Susan lives a few streets over. After her husband passed, her calendar emptied out slowly, one square at a time, until the week felt hollow. Researchers have found something surprising about retirees like her. People who feel isolated tend to spend measurably more money. Not on anything reckless, just small, quiet purchases. Deliveries instead of cooking. Subscriptions instead of company. Small purchases that fill a space briefly. Loneliness, it turns out, has a real price tag. Nobody puts it on a spreadsheet, but it's there, scattered across a dozen small line items. Here are 3 moves that apply to everyone watching. First, stop claiming Social Security out of fear or habit. Waiting even a few extra years matters enormously over time. It can add 6 figures in extra lifetime income. One decision, made once, quietly pays you forever after. Think of it as the highest return decision most retirees ever make, and almost nobody treats it that way. Second, consider a strategic Roth conversion for yourself. Move money slowly, during years with lower tax brackets. This locks in today's rates permanently before they can change. Nobody actually knows what tax rates will look like later, not even the people who write the laws. A single afternoon with a tax preparer can map this out clearly. Small conversions, done consistently, beat one large, risky move. Third, eliminate any high-interest debt before touching retirement funds. Credit card interest quietly destroys careful, decades-long saving. This step gets overlooked constantly, more than the other 2, mostly because it feels less exciting to talk about. But dollar for dollar, it often matters just as much as the other 2 combined. Pay it down first, then build from a clean foundation. These 3 moves work at every single tier. They don't require luck or a windfall or an inheritance. They only require honest attention and the right timing. Your personal benchmark matters more than the national one. If you're near 100,000, focus on resilience first. If you're near 300,000, focus on income efficiency next. If you're near 600,000, focus on withdrawal strategy and taxes. If you're above $1 million, focus on protection and legacy planning. Different numbers call for different priorities every single time. Ask yourself one honest question tonight. If your income stopped completely tomorrow morning, what happens? How many months could you cover essential expenses? 3 months gives almost no breathing room at all. 6 months starts to feel like real protection. That single number matters more than almost anything else discussed today. Most people have never actually sat down and calculated it. Now I want to hear from you directly. Type ahead if you feel confident about today. Type plan if you're actively rebuilding your strategy right now. I read and personally reply to every single comment. Whichever word you typed, you're genuinely not alone in typing it. There are people reading these comments tonight who needed to see that word from someone else first. If this video helped you even a little, share it now. Send it to someone turning 60 or 65 soon, maybe a sibling, a neighbor, a friend from church. One simple text message could save them years of worry, the same worry we just walked through together tonight. It costs you nothing, and it might genuinely help someone. Because here's the real truth sitting underneath every number. Your net worth was never really the whole point. What matters is whether it can hold up your life. Can it absorb a genuinely bad year without panic? Can it cover a surprise bill without a sleepless night? Can you say yes to a grandchild's request easily? Can you sit on the porch without running numbers in your head? That's the real benchmark, the one no headline ever prints. And now you know exactly how to measure it yourself, tier by tier, decision by decision. Which tier surprised you the most tonight, honestly? Was it higher than expected or lower? Either answer is completely fine, by the way. Whichever tier you found yourself in tonight, that was never a verdict. It's simply a snapshot, taken at one single moment in time. Numbers change. Decisions change them faster than time alone ever could. What matters most is what you do next with it. Tomorrow morning, open your bank statement for a minute. Find one small expense your future self doesn't need. It might be the smallest decision you make all week. Years from now, it could be the one you're most grateful for. There's one more decision that could quietly cost you 6 figures. It happens at exactly one age, in one single moment. Claiming Social Security at 62 might be a $100,000 mistake for some retirees. Most people never realize it until years later. That's exactly what we're breaking down in the next video. Click the video right here on your screen now. I'll see you over there.